that new students are familiar with the MyUnisa platform. If you had visited the labs, you would find me in the labs. We normally conduct workshops for MyUnisa in my life, workshops for Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. So today, I would just like to show you a thing or two about MyUnisa that we try and assist you in getting the recordings. For instance, the recording of this session, I need to ensure that the recording for this session is uploaded onto the MyUnisa platform. And if it's not on MyUnisa, we normally send a link, a YouTube link for the session. So after each session, the reason we record this session is for the students to get hold of the recordings after the session, or for those who were not able to attend the session can watch the recordings of that particular session. So let me just show you MyUnisa and how we go about. If you log into your My Modules, you are supposed to have a let me just log in. So under My Modules, you're supposed to have this Western Cape region at the end. If you do not have that Western Cape, just write your student number on the chat and then I will add this Western Cape region. The Western Cape region is for us to keep our recordings, for us to keep our notes. For instance, if Tondani has notes that she wants you guys to refer to for each of the session, she will she will save the notes under the tab. So if you click on the Western Cape region, you will find that we would normally have these events and workshops. If you click on these events and workshops, it's going to take you to the workshops or the whatever is happening today or for this week. It's going to give you a schedule for all the sessions that we have currently running for that particular week. So normally some people would just, if you want to attend a session, you can just click on join session, and you can also see that we also have notes and recordings. If you click on that notes and recordings, that's where you will find the notes and recordings for that particular session. So if you scroll down, you would find that we also have what is called digital learning, tutorial classes, writing center, and numeracy. So these are all the services that we provide in the Western Cape. So for instance, the sessions that you're currently attending would be under numeracy center. So for instance, if you also have English, for instance, you would find it under writing center or under tutorial classes. So if you click on, let's say, for instance, we click on numeracy center, and then you scroll down, you would find that the session is going to be here. We also have economics that's happening later today. You will just click on notes and recordings if it's there, or you would also see at the bottom that these are the sessions that we currently have running. So all you need to do, I'm sure Tondani is gonna tell you about, we also have what you call, for instance, under digital learning, we also have consultation. You can always book a consultation if you want a one-on-one consultation regarding MyUnisa or My Life. These are what we are offering for the digital under digital learning. But for sessions like Tondani's sessions or whatever session that you will be attending, you can speak to the facilitator or send them an email to book a one-on-one session. What else is there? Anything else that you need you need to familiarize yourself with regarding my UNISA? You can just book a one-on-one session, or you can just send us an email, and then we'll give you a call and then tell you when we can have that session. But other than that, that is all. If you guys need anything regarding my UNISA, or you are not familiar with my UNISA or the My Life email, or you're struggling to log in, or your MFA is giving you problems, then you can just send us an email. Other than that, that is all for now. But any other questions, or if you don't have this Western Cape region at the bottom of your modules, just write your student number on the chat, and then I will add you I will end you as in today. Thank you. Tondani, you can go ahead. Tondani, you are muted. Okay, guys. Tondani is just having issues with I think it must be the mic on her laptop, but she's sorting it out.
Okay, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great.
Sure.
Let me share my slides now. Apologies for that, guys. Okay. So welcome everyone once again. This is our very first information system session for the year. We're a bit late, it's already June, but let's get started. So my name is Tondani Moketi, as I said earlier. For those who joined late, please, can you complete the attendance register? Is there in the chat? And yeah, then we can get started with our program for the day. Sivu has already given us an introduction to the UNISA Western Cape site where you can get all the necessary information. But I just want to give a bit of introduction on how we're going to conduct our sessions. So these sessions are for you guys. We are here from Academic Literacies to help you guys navigate your studies. We focus mainly on the skills that are needed for students to be successful and to pass the modules. So now and again, we will touch on the module content, but our main focus is the academic literacy skills and to help you understand your study material and prepare for assessment, etc. So just the rules of engagement on how we conduct these sessions. We ask that you please switch off your video and mute your microphone. Always complete the attendance register. The link is there in the chat. And raise a virtual hand if you would like to ask a question. But most importantly, feel free to participate. This is a safe environment. So there is no silly question. Feel free to ask any questions, or if you don't want to speak, you can just post your question on and interact in the Teams chat. Feel free to use the emojis, reactions, so that we can make learning fun. And for any technical queries, like Sivu mentioned, you can just send an email to this CTN TAT email address. Then they will be able to assist you with any technical queries. Or if you can't access my UNISA or something happened with your login, you can't log in, they will be able to assist you. Okay, as mentioned earlier, all the sessions are recorded and you will be able to access it on the, you probably joined late. So I'm going to put the attendance register again. Sorry about that. I must just pin it on the top, then everyone has got access. Okay. I'll put it there now. Okay. Thank you, everyone. You can complete the attendance register. So for today's lesson, we're going to talk about, it's an introduction to information systems. We will also talk about academic reading. So before we start, I just want to talk a bit about the outcomes for today's session. So we're going to discuss how to navigate information systems as a first-year student, and how also understand the tools that are available for you as a UNISA student, most importantly, because we know that UNISA is a distance e-learning institution. So you need to be aware of the tools that are available for you. You saw on the website that there are digital learning tools that you can access. So all of those are available resources for you guys. Then we will also talk about how to read and interpret academic study material accurately, because now in university level, you need to do a lot of reading, and it is quite different from probably how you did your studying from high school level. Not assuming that everyone is straight from high school, but yes, we will look at that topic and also understand how to summarize key concepts from textbooks, from study guides, whatever academic material that you're reading for your modules. You need to be able to summarize using your own words. So that is what we will talk about today. Then Sivu already showed us the Western Cape portal. I'm not going to talk about that again, but I just want to mention that there is also support if you are a student that is struggling with your studies, or you have too many modules and you're feeling overwhelmed. There is also student counseling and support services that are available for you guys. Okay, so I see we have 20 people in the room. I wanted us to introduce ourselves, since we'll be working together for the rest of the year, just to get to know each other a little bit. You don't have to speak. You can just put in the chat, what is your name? When I look at the screen, I just see the initials, RVRK. So it would be nice to know your names. You can just put your name and what module you've registered for. So today, it is supposed to be students registered for INF 1505 and 1520. And then what are your expectations for this session? And one interesting fact about you. So I gave an example there about myself. My name is Tondani Moketsi. I am registered for INF 1505. I want to equip myself with the necessary skills to navigate information systems. And an interesting fact about me is that I enjoy running. So I'll give you guys 2 minutes just to introduce yourselves in the chat, then we will proceed. Anyone wants to introduce themselves? Okay, I see Chloe, I see R. Kenny. What does R stand for? Okay, I see John T. INF 1505. Nice to meet you, John T. And you want to understand how to answer questions in papers. I like clean cars. Oh, that's a good one. Anyone else who would like to introduce themselves? Ngabakazi. Sure, that is a difficult name. It's nice to meet you. Which module are you doing? Is it 1505 or are you doing both? Because I know that some students from other departments choose 1505 as an additional module. So I just want to have an idea of, are we only a group of students who are registered for information systems and computer science, or are there people from other fields as well? Okay, thank you, Chloe. You are also registered for 1505 and you want to understand IT concepts and their relation in business contexts. That's interesting. I like learning new skills ranging from arts, languages, and crafts. Thank you, Chloe. Okay, if there's no one else, then we will continue. Okay, my name is Ranley. I'm registered for INF1505. I want to understand how to analyze information technology components. I like trying new things. Nice to meet you, Ranley. And Refilwe. I want to understand more about this module. I enjoy shopping to relieve stress. That's a fun way to relieve stress, but very expensive. Okay, so is there anyone here who's also doing INF 1520? It seems mostly it's people doing 1505. Okay, Michael. Thank you, Michael. 1520. No expectations, but perhaps I'll have some expectation next time. Okay. I have 2 dogs, 3 cats, and 1 human baby. Wow. You have your hands full there, Michael. It's nice to meet you. Okay, so our first session is not going to be a hectic session. As I said, this is our very first session. So we starting with the easy stuff, just to prepare ourselves how to navigate information systems. So as a first year information systems student, how do you navigate through information systems? So maybe some of you are already working and you are studying part-time. Some of you are probably studying full-time and maybe this is your first qualification, or you are adding to your many other qualifications. But I think if you are someone who is studying for the first time with UNISA, it can be quite challenging on how to navigate your studies, since you are not going to be attending classes every day and you don't have a physical class that you go to. So it is a good idea to just talk about how to navigate your studies. Thank you, Nkamukhele. I see you posted there. You're also registered for INF 1505. and you want to be able to identify classes of business information systems. Okay. And understand development of information systems in business. And I enjoy cooking. Thank you, Nkamuhele. So we will delve deeper into the INF1505 topics from next week. So our sessions, we will meet every Thursday at this time. You will use the same link that you used to join today. So yes, we will be meeting here at 5:30 every Thursday. Okay, to navigate information systems, I think the most important item that you can use as your key is the tutorial 101. So each module has got this. So for 1505, that tutorial details the expected outcomes so that you know what you are going to be assessed on in order to pass the module. So I'm sure all of you have got that tutorial 101 already. And you can see there are 5 outcomes there that you are being assessed on. So that is your roadmap on how to navigate the module. You need to make sure that you understand the outcomes. And as you are studying, you assess yourself if you made those outcomes or not. So in that tutorial, you will have your lecturer's detail. By now, you should know who your lecturer is and how you contact them, and also details of the prescribed textbook, the MIS book. By now, I think everyone should have the book, and you should be far now because we are already in June. So that is your roadmap. If you feel lost, you don't know what to do or what is expected of you for this module, you go to that tutorial 101 and you can read through it. It details everything. And there is also information about the first year experience program, which is also a tool that helps students to transition from school education to tertiary education. So you can access it online. It is there on the My UNISA website. So each module, by now, you should have access to the My Module site. So for INF1505, the module site is very important for all the modules actually. So that is where the lecturer communicates with students. That is where you will need to go and download the additional study material that is provided and to see the announcements, participate in discussion groups. So it's very important that you visit the My Module site, the module sites regularly, at least twice a week, so that you are up to date with what is going on in the module. And you can ask questions to your lecturer or to the e-tutor if there's an e-tutor assigned for that module. So it's important that you check the module site regularly. And also for your assignments, that is where you will get all the information related to assignments, the due dates, and that is where you will submit your assignments. Then we have the My Life email. So as a registered student, you now have your My Life email. That is the official communication tool with students at UNISA. Lecturers will communicate through your My Life email or through the module site or through SMS if it's urgent, but you need to make sure that you check your My Life email regularly. And it's also advisable to always use your account when you join these sessions on Teams. Make sure that you are logged in with your My Life account so that you can have access to all the features on Teams. So it's important that you check your email regularly and to keep in contact with the lecturers and the e-tutors. So in the past, I've had students saying it is almost exam time. They don't know who their lecturer is, and they have questions regarding some module content. So it's important that you keep in contact with your lecturer. If you have questions regarding assignments or anything that you don't understand when you are studying, you are more than welcome to contact the lecturers and the e-tutors. And also you can also contact us. I will share my email address in the end so that you can also contact me if you need any assistance. There are also tutorial groups that are happening. Feel free to join those because all of these are tools to help you guys to be successful in your studies. And as I mentioned earlier, we are from academic literacies. And there is also the digital learning services that Sivu spoke about earlier. You can contact them if you need assistance on how to navigate digital learning, how to use my UNISA, how to use the Microsoft 365, all of those digital tools. Then we also have the library services. The library is available to you as a UNISA student, and most students don't use it, but it is available on your tutorial 101. There's information on how to, a link on how to access the library. And you can also see on that on the schedule, you can see sometimes there is library training that is offered for students. If you're able to join those sessions, you are more than welcome to join so that you can learn. Then we also have counseling and career development services. I spoke about this earlier. If you're a student who is feeling overwhelmed or need support with mental health or career guidance, then you can contact them. That details are also on that Western Cape portal. Then we also have the first year experience, which is also there on my UNISA. I'm sure by now, all of you have gone through that site. The first year experience is on my UNISA. I think it is under student support and regions. So it is more like an orientation. You can go through that site in your own time. I'll just put it here in the chat. So that you are familiar with what services are available. Okay. Next is our workshop schedule. So We will be meeting every Thursday at 5:30, and the sessions are open to any registered students for INF 1505 and 1520. Even if they're not from Western Cape, if you have friends from Gauteng or other provinces, they are welcome to join. You can share the link with them. So the topics that we're going to cover, we're going to start with the INF 1505 topics. I see this is not visible. I will share a link later to the lesson plan, but we are starting with INF 1505 topics. From the very first topic, information systems in business. I saw someone was asking about that. They need to understand information systems and how they fit in the business context. So we will talk about that, and computers and their applications, data intelligence, legal and ethical issues, protecting information resources. So all the topics that you are required to know, we will go through them. It may not be in detail, but we will try our best to cover everything in the little time that we have. So if you have any topics that you would like us to discuss in these sessions, please feel free to let me know. The plan is not cast in stone, so we can change it as needed. So let's say, for example, you want us to discuss a written assignment, for example, for INF 1520. We can do that. So you must just let me know if you guys want to add another topic on the schedule. Are there any questions up to here? No questions. Okay. Then I would like to know, what is your biggest concern about your module? Whether you're registered for INF 1505 or INF 1520 or both. So if you can please just open another browser window and go to menti.com and enter this code so that you can answer this question. You can just open a different browser window and go to menti.com and answer the question, what is your biggest concern about your module? When you open menti.com, it will ask you to enter the code. The code is this one on the screen, 48005867. Then you answer the questions, then we will discuss. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to do that, and then we will continue. So you are allowed to add up to 3 answers. I see few people have answered. Still waiting for more people to answer. What is your biggest concern about the model? Something that you are worried about? Okay, I see some people are saying they are concerned about the internet connection, difficulty understanding, too much work, too much information, the study material, the classes. Maybe you can give me a bit more context here. Are there other classes that are booked for INF1505? Is there an e-tutor that gives classes, or the lecturer is giving classes? I just want to understand why you're worried about classes. I've posted the results here on the chart. You can look at that image. And someone says they're trying to catch up and internet connection. I thought that UNISA gives students data. Is that not the case anymore? For the person that's worried about internet connection. Okay, and I see someone is worried about falling behind, trying to catch up. So I think that one is a big concern for everyone, especially if you are working and studying at the same time, or you have family responsibilities that need your attention. Like Michael was saying, he has two dogs and 3 cats and a baby. So that can take a lot of your time. But yes, that's why we need to learn how to navigate our studies so that we can make time for our studies, because there's a reason why you enrolled for this program in the first place. So maybe for some of you, you want to change careers, or maybe you want to, this is your first qualification. So you must always remember the reason why you started in the first place. Why did you enroll for this course, for this program? So yes, so we will try to address these challenges as we go along. Mostly the too much work. It is a lot of theory, especially for INF 1505. The IMS textbook is very big and it has a lot of content, but you don't need to feel overwhelmed, because I think that is the biggest thing. You look at this textbook and there is so much work to do. You cannot read page by page, otherwise you're not going to finish. So we will talk about how to read with a purpose so that you can manage the work and not feel like you are trying to catch up all the time. Okay. Those are some good answers. Thank you for those who responded. Okay. So I spoke about the tutorial 101, and then for INF1520, there is no textbook. So you only use the study guide. So that is your textbook and your study guide in one. That is what you're using. And the prescribed textbook for INF 1505, the MIS book. And then you need to keep up to date with the content on my UNISA that's been posted by your lecturer, and assignment date. Maybe let's just stop here for a second. Can you guys tell me how far you are with assignments? Have you done assignment 2 or 3 yet for INF 1505 and 1520? Which assignments have you submitted already, so that I have an idea how many assignments are still outstanding? It's a Chloe, which assignments have you guys submitted for INF 1505? Or what is the next assignment? I just want to have an idea. Okay, so she says she's done the first assignment. And when is assignment 2 due for INF 1505? Oh, next week, 17 June. Okay. That is just next week. Okay. So it's a good thing that there is a long weekend. Then you can use that time to work on the assignment. But with INF 1505, all the assignments are multiple choice quizzes. So I don't think it is very difficult. You just need to make sure that you have studied the relevant chapters so that you can choose the correct answer. But I know the way that they ask the questions, it can be confusing. So you need to study those chapters first. Okay. But I think we are a bit late since the due date is Monday. But anyway, okay. And then for INF1520, what assignment are you on now? Okay, you can check that for me, please, and just put it in the chat. Okay, so it is important to have a study plan for yourself, just like a timetable for when you are going to study, especially if you're doing a lot of modules. I know some students are doing 6 or 5 modules at the same time. So it becomes very stressful. So that's why you need to have a plan. I saw your lecturer for INF1520 has given a study plan in the tutorial 101, just a guide to say which chapters you need to be doing when. So I think that helps a little bit so that you can structure your studying and preparing for assignments. So for INF1520, in May, you were supposed to work on assignment 3. So I suppose assignment 3 has been submitted already. Then from now, you should be working on lesson 4. That is according to the study plan from the lecturer. But I know most of us are behind. So you don't need to worry. You can still catch up. And create a study plan that works for you, especially as we are approaching the end of the year and there's exams coming up, October, November. So it's important that you create a study plan for yourself, which days you're going to be studying, which modules, etc. Okay, Chloe says she's not sure which chapters are in assessment 2. And if it includes chapter 1, 2, and 3. I also don't know which chapters. So that question you can ask on the module site in the group discussion, or the email the lecturer directly which chapters are included in assessment 2. But usually they would indicate which chapters are included in their assignments. So yeah, I don't have the answer for that. By now, I thought chapter 1, 2, and 3 was assignment 1, and then maybe assessment 2 is from 4 onwards, but I don't know. I don't have the answer for you, Chloe. Maybe others can help. Does anyone know which chapters are covered for assessment 2, INF1505? Okay, yes, feel free to talk to each other. That's why we have this group. Then you can share information so that we help each other. I know some students create WhatsApp groups so that they share information. So you are more than welcome to do that on your own. then you share information on the module, because it can be very lonely studying by yourself. Okay, assignment 1 was chapter 1 to 3, meaning assignment 2 will be from chapter 4. Okay, thank you, Razan. Okay, so, okay, chapter 4 to 6 for assignment 2. Okay, thank you. So, now we know about the assignments date. I spoke about the study plan, and managing your time is very important. So you must not leave things until the last minute. Like now we have this assignment 2 that is due on the 17th. Don't leave it until Sunday and say you will work on it on Sunday. So it's always better to do the work early so that you are not rushed and you understand the content, because studying for the assignment helps you to also learn for the exam. So the studying that you're doing now and writing notes, you will use it later when it's exam time. So it is not a waste. So it's important to manage your time accordingly and make sure that you allocate enough time to cover the chapters. So if you have 3 chapters to cover, it's not possible to do that in one day and be able to do the assessments on the same day. So yes, you will need to manage your time. Okay, are there any questions here or comments before I go to the next topic? Okay, so today we're going to talk about academic reading. As we heard, there is a lot of reading involved with information systems, a lot of theory that you need to learn. So that is why we talk about academic reading. So what is academic reading? It's an active act of reading and engaging with academic texts by taking notes, asking questions, making connections, and challenging arguments. So the goal of academic reading is to understand what you are reading and analyze it and be able to apply the information. So at university level, you are expected to read widely. So in some module, you will see that they give a list of recommended books as well. And they give maybe a links to the library online books that you need to access. So you are expected to read widely, but academic reading is not like reading for leisure. It requires critical thinking, note-taking, and the ability to evaluate and interpret complex ideas. So I understand when some of you were saying you need help understanding the content for INF1505, because if you are not from an IT background, or if you've never done anything related to computers before, it can all sound very foreign. So that is why it's important to be able to interpret those ideas. And the most important thing, we read with a purpose. So we don't just read page by page. You must have a purpose. Why am I reading? So let's say now you are going to read chapter 4, 5, and 6 to prepare for assignment 2. So that is your purpose why you're reading. And you don't just read each and every page. To read with a purpose means you must understand what you are expected to know. So I will refer you again to the specific outcomes. So in your tutorial 101 for INF1505, there are learning objectives for each chapter. So that should be your guide to say, what topics do I need to focus on in chapter 4? What topics do I need to focus on chapter 5 and chapter 6, so that you don't read 100 pages when you can get the information in 50 pages. So use the learning objectives as your guide for each chapter. Then you will also be able to save time as well. So the learning objectives are very important because that is what you are being assessed on. So chapter 4 is about personal, legal, and ethical issues. So you must look at those learning objectives, go to them textbooks, and go to find the sections that speaks about those topics. Let's say information privacy. Then those are the sections that you read, and then do the same for all the other learning objectives. That is how I would approach it to try and save time. So academic reading also exposes you to different viewpoints. That's why earlier I said you are expected to read widely, so that you don't just have one view on a certain topic, especially when you get to third year and to honors level. You are expected to read from many different sources so that you can be able to form your own opinions based on what the other scholars are saying. But most importantly, it takes time. So you need to plan for your reading. That is where that study plan comes in. So let's say you are someone who has not started yet with this assignment 2, and now you have 3 days left to work on the assignment. 4 days left. So you need to make a plan. Let's say I will work on it 2 hours every day. I will study for 2 hours every day, or 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours again in the evening for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then on Monday, I will do the assessment questions on my UNISA. So that is a plan that you can make for yourself. However, it works for you, taking into account your schedule. So it's important to plan for your reading. Okay, Ranley is asking, does INF1505 have a WhatsApp group? I have no idea. Does anyone know if there's a WhatsApp group for INF1505? I know last year the students created a WhatsApp group for themselves. So this year, I don't know. But you are more than welcome to create one for yourselves. Okay. Some of the academic reading strategies that I used, there are many out there. I just chose a few that I think are applicable to you guys. So the first one is skimming. So this means you are reading quickly, just to get the main idea of what is happening in the chapter or whatever it is that you're reading. So the purpose of doing skimming is just to get a general overview. So let's say now you go to chapter 4 of the MIS book and you want to just get an idea of the main topics. Then you just skim through the chapter, you look at the headings and the subheadings, the titles, read the introduction of the chapter. Usually there is an introduction to the chapter and a summary at the end. You can read that just to get an overview. And this helps when you have a large volume of material that you need to cover. So by reading the headings, introductions, summary, conclusions, you can see what are the main topics that you need to focus on. So for example, you can skim a journal article by reading the abstract at the top and the conclusion. Then you can see whether it's relevant for your studies or not relevant. So that is why you do that, but you cannot use this strategy alone if you are preparing for an assessment, because you need to go deeper into the content. So the next strategy is scanning. Here you are looking for specific information. So maybe you want to locate specific facts or terms or data about something. You don't need to read the whole chapter. You just want to go and find something. So let's say maybe you want to find the definition of cybercrime. What is cybercrime? Then this is where you will use the scanning method, because you just want to look up that term, cybercrime, and you use it to search for definitions, dates, names, finding supporting codes for assignments, etc. So this is where you use scanning. And scanning can also be using the index at the back of the book. If you're looking for a specific term, you can go to the index, see what page that term is on, and then you go directly to the page and you find the definition. So it helps you to find what you're looking for quickly, but also at the same time, you must know what it is you are looking for. And then when you find the information that you're looking for, that's when you stop and you read. For example, scan a textbook for the year a programming language was introduced. So let's say one of the questions in a written assignment is, when was Python introduced as a programming language? Then you can quickly do a scan to find that. But I know these days we prefer to use Google to get the quick answers. But yes, scanning is another reading strategy that you can use. Then we have the third strategy, which is close or critical reading. This means deep reading to evaluate arguments. So this is the type of reading that you need to do in order to be able to answer assessment questions. So now for this assignment 2, you need to go deep reading, do deep reading for chapter 4, 5, and 6. This means that you need to understand the information You need to be able to interpret it and be able to evaluate that information. You can use it when preparing for essays, for discussions, for exams, analyzing research or theoretical arguments. I don't think in first year level you are expected to analyze research, but yes, this is the type of reading that you need to do to prepare for your assessment. So you read critically, read slowly, and annotate important ideas. Then you must ask questions. What is the author's main argument? What is the person saying? Is the evidence strong? Are there any assumptions? Or are there any biases? So when you read the chapters in your book, you mustn't just read through it as a newspaper. You must engage with the material, ask yourself those questions so that you can be able to understand what the topic is about. So it's useful to use highlighters or whatever way of making notes that you prefer. And then you can make summaries in your own words as you're reading. So that helps a lot when you need to go back later to find the information. So that is another strategy that you can use. Are there any questions or comments up to here? Oh, I see Avongile says there is a Telegram group for INF1505. Okay. So maybe you can share the link. If you have it, then people who want to join the group can join. Okay, I mentioned that as you are reading and studying, you need to be able to identify key concepts. So you need to read closely, focus on the topic sentences. Earlier, we talked about skimming to see the important topics from the headings, subheadings. So the first sentence of a paragraph often introduces the main idea. That is just a general rule on how textbooks are written and articles are written. So when you look at the first sentence of a paragraph, then you will be able to see what is the main idea there. Then look for repeated ideas or terms. If you see that a term is repeated in the paragraph, in the page, in the chapter, this means that it is an important concept that you need to take note of. So when you are reading, you need to make note of those things. And as you spend more time reading and studying, then it just becomes natural to you. You don't even have to think about it as a way of studying. So look out for the repeated terms or ideas. Then you highlight definitions and theories. So it's important that you understand definitions, not just to memorize the definition, but to understand what it means and be able to explain it in your own words. So understanding terms and theories. I don't think there are theories in INF1505, but there are a lot of terms. So make sure that you understand the definitions and be able to apply it and explain it in your own words. Pay attention to signal words. Signal words like importantly, in contrast, for example, those are important words whenever you're reading something because they help you to understand the flow of the argument. So that is how you can identify key concepts. Then also note supporting evidence. Most of the time they give examples as evidence, or they give case studies. I've seen in the MIS book that they give example case studies to show how a certain company did something related to what is being discussed in that topic. So it's good to read those examples, and it helps you to understand the content better. And in cases where you have to do a written assignment and provide references for where you got your information from, then it's important to note the supporting evidence. Then while you are reading, you need to make summaries for yourself. So I know most people write notes as they're studying, but writing notes doesn't mean you just copy what you're reading in the textbook. It means you put the ideas in your own words. So let's say you read a section from your textbook. Maybe it's a section about, let's see, management information systems, for example. So after you read that section, not the whole chapter, the section, then you need to write a summary for yourself in your own words. That is how you make notes. And it needs to be concise, meaning that it needs to be focused only on the main points. When you write a summary, it's only focused on the main points and not too much detail. So you leave out the unnecessary detail and example unless you feel that it is relevant for you to be able to remember the content. It's advisable to use bullet points or short paragraphs to help organize your thoughts clearly. And also you can use diagrams to connect concepts. So you can do a concept map or a mind map. It helps to connect the ideas together. So it's up to you which method works best to write notes and to create summaries. But I think mind maps and concept maps helps to show how the concepts are connected. Because if you look at your MIS book, all of these things are connected. From the very first topic, they are all connected. So you can use that as a way to summarize key concepts. And if you use it now, it will help you a lot come exam time, because then you can just use your notes to do revision as you prepare for exams. Okay. Can you guys share some of your own reading strategies and tips? Anyone wants to share what has worked for you in terms of reading? What methods do you use that maybe helps you to save time? Because there is a lot of work to cover. So I think it's good for us to share any tips and strategies that works for you at the moment. You can share in the chat. Okay, I see. We are running out of time, but I will just see how far we get. So some of the tips I can share with you for academic reading at university level. You must have a designated space where you study, whether it's at home or at the library or you study at the office, but have a space where you study so that when you get there, your brain knows that now it's time for study. If you try to study while you're lying on the couch, it's not going to work. So have a designated space. You know what works for you, and you know what time is best for you to study. So you need to plan around that. Have everything you need on hand so that you don't need to be getting up and getting distracted. So if you need a dictionary, your textbooks, your study guides, pencils, highlighters, notebooks, everything that you will need for that study session, have it, everything on hand. Make sure that the lighting and the sound is tuned to your study preference. Some people like to have a little bit of music playing softly in the background, then it helps them to concentrate, or have listen on the headphones, then it helps them with focus. Whatever works for you, do it so that you can get the reading done. Have snacks available to keep you energized, and water. The brain needs water to function, so it's important to rehydrate, keep hydrated. Make sure that you will be undisturbed. If you know that you are someone who cannot uh, sit for 5 minutes without checking your phone, rather switch off your phone or hide it, or leave it in another room so that for that dedicated time, you are focused just on the studying. Make sure that your mind is focused and not look for disturbances to get out of reading. I know that some friends will say, no, let's go, there is this party, or let's go watch a game, or let's go do this, but you had planned to study. So such things are distractions and they take away your time. So another important thing is that you should work at the best time of the day when you are most alert. Some people are night owls. They work best at night. Other people work best in the morning, early morning. So you must know which time of the day works best for you, and use that to the maximum. Okay, I already spoke about making notes. So yeah, we are running out. We are out of time. I'm not going to go through this, but this was just an example text to show how you can make a summary. So this is a paragraph talking about management information systems. And I just wanted us to talk about how do you create a summary after you have read the paragraph. So we talked about identifying key concepts. So that is what you will do. Even here, you identify the important terms and the ideas from the paragraph, and then just summarize key points. That is the main thing. A summary is only key points, not detail. And most importantly, it must be in your own words. Okay, so I think we will stop there. And the rest of the slides, it is just, this is another study technique that your lecturers recommend for computer science and information system students. It is there in your, okay, I think it is in the computer science study guide. But anyway, it is just a method where you scan, question, read, recall, and review. It's very much similar to the other strategies that we talked about. But most importantly here, you must ask yourself, do I already know this subject? So if you have done this topic in a different module, you don't need to spend a lot of time on it now. Or if it is a subject that you have done on a different course, or maybe in high school, you have some knowledge about the topic, you don't need to spend too much time on it. So yeah, so I will stop here and we will share the slides later with you guys. Then you can be able to see everything else that I had. Okay, so I just want to share that I'm available for consultations one-on-one if you have questions, or if you need help with anything, preparing for your assignment, questions about the modules, whatever you need help with, you can send me an email. That is my email address there. And I will book a 30-minute session with you on Teams. Then we can see how to help you, because I know some people are not comfortable talking in a group like this. So if you have questions, please feel free to email me. Are there any questions here, guys? Okay, then one last thing that we need to do, I will stop sharing. We need to complete an evaluation form. This is just for us to see how we can improve the sessions. So I'm going to share the link for the evaluation form. You just click on the link and then you complete the questions. It's not a lot of questions, just a few questions for the evaluation. That will help us a lot. Okay, so I've put the link to the evaluation form there. You can access it and complete the evaluation. Then we will meet again next week, Thursday at 5:30. Next week, we are doing the topic on information systems in business. That's for INF1505. So I hope to see you all next week. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.